we look at the formality of examination in this program, there are 3 types of deliverables that you must submit and have graded or approved by the professors. The first is classical courses. So you'll take courses in various subjects, the global world, ethics in business, contemporary leadership or whatever. There'll be a number of those courses, and each of these courses is graded like any other course, and there will be deliverables, and you have to write essays, and they're graded by your professor. That's the first type of deliverable. The second type of deliverable is a group project in which you work with 2 other students, so groups of 3 students plus 1 professor over a year. That's the second and third semester. And over that year, you must go through a full research cycle. That is, identify the problem, link up to the businesses you work with, find the extant literature that is relevant for this, collect the data, write the paper, and submit a paper for publication, co-authored by these 4 people, the 3 students and the professor. And you must submit that, and you must have it approved by me, basically, to move on in the education. Now, these 2 types of deliverables is what creates the platform for then making the final deliverable, which is your dissertation. And your dissertation work will take place in semesters 4, 5, and 6. You will spend roughly half of your time in these 3 semesters, simply doing your individual dissertation under supervision of a professor. And the deliverable there is a 100-page document, which is a dissertation, according to academic standards, as an example of engaged scholarship, exemplifying the methods and techniques that they have learned through their education. And that deliverable must be defended in an oral session where a committee of 3 professors, one is your supervisor, but then there are 2 other professors on your committee, will scrutinize basically your argument, will scrutinize your methods, will scrutinize whether this is a relevant business problem that is worth looking into with research methods. And in this oral session, there will be an opportunity for the student to defend his or her position and use of methods. And it is the outcome of that defense that determines really whether you become a doctorate. You must pass that defense, and you must stand up to the scrutiny of these 3 professors. And I'm sure that far most of our students will be able to do that. There are classical elements in the toolkit, and then there are more, technology-dependent elements in your toolkit. And the classical elements will change very little. The technology-dependent might change. So let me try to give you some examples. If you talk about the classical elements of research methodology, there's the whole notion of quantitative research, in which you basically collect evidence from businesses, and you use basically statistical methods to come up with significant insights that can explain with certain statistical significance problems or things that occur in businesses, or possible solutions that businesses can adopt. So that whole set of quantitative methods is rather stable, and has been developed over several hundred years really within academia, and is used also in other sciences and in medicine, for example. Then there are the qualitative methods that are rather different, where you're much more focused on the context in which things happen, and you're very interested in details and in the nuances of things, and you of course are not able to come up with any statements of statistical significance, but you might come up with significant insights into the uniqueness of the problems in particular contexts, and the uniqueness of ways of solving problems in particular contexts. And the students need to get very familiar with these 2 classical sets of, defining research, collecting data, interpreting, analyzing data, and generating papers that makes contributions to the literature. That's rather classical, and I would say that that's something that once the students get an understanding of this and get it under their skin, that will stay with them for the rest of their life. But then there are specific tools like There are tools for statistical processing. There are tools for helping you to interpret interviews and look at interviews in a qualitative fashion and compare this interview with this interview, etc. And these tools are contemporary tools that are highly dependent basically on information technology and computing. And they might easily change very quickly as we move on. But they will know that. It's like with any other tools you have in life, they change with technology. So there's sort of a stable side and a more transformative side, and the students learn this.